Welcome again, Keepers of Light, to another weekly oracle card reading. I am shuffling the same old decks that I've been using. I do need to upgrade and buy more decks, but for now, I'm using, in case you haven't been on this portal before, I'm shuffling this deck. And I will also be using the Astro Codes, the Star Codes deck, and I will use the key. Where you at? I'll use this to clarify whenever I feel like I need them. So, just wanted to ask you guys how's 2024 treating you? There's been a lot of changes going on in my life, a lot of things that have kind of pushed me to expand and to just step into a higher level of power within myself that I hadn't even really known I could do. And another thing that's happened is really that I met another one of my soul family. Her name is Dona, and she is the most brilliant artist. She creates art like this, but her art isn't like just reserved to doing something like this. She has so many other pieces that she's selling. She has her site. She also offers these crystals, and I gotta tell you that these crystals are nothing like the crystals that I've purchased before hers. And that's because she's a twin flame, and her her husband is actually on the other side, and he's passed away, but they are still in relationship with one another. And because of their incarnation as twin flames, they exist at a much higher frequency, and that she has access to that higher level of frequency, just given that she's working with him from the other side, and they infuse their energies in her work, their work. It's actually their work together in their crystals. And I've just had tremendous upgrades and expand to my expansion and experience of higher consciousness that I had. I've been fast tracked, is what I'm saying, in the past, I would say 6 months, just because of having met Dona. And it's not just that, it's also because she's the most supportive human being. She's the most supportive person I've met in terms of a friendship that I've ever had. And in that way, she's been able to help me to just come back to myself again. She's helped me when it comes to working through some major shadow work. And she's my Ascension Partner right now. That's what I consider her. That's what we call each other. So we're going to be working on some projects together. I will put a link to her social media so that you can, if you want to, also get the benefit of using her crystals. At the very least, her art is also infused with the frequencies that help to bridge, because what it does is her work will help, her energies, the frequencies that you get exposed to, they will help you upgrade your ability to work with the non-physical elements of reality. She's here in the physical, and her husband is in the non-physical, but together, what happens is they're like a unit. They're one together, and really, they get into this really high vibratory realm of existence, and they have their relationship and all. And within that, they bring the love that they share within one another into their work. And it's the best way that I can really explain it to you. But like I said, she's a dear friend right now, and I am always in support of her. And so if you are interested, I would highly recommend her and her crystals. And I will put a link for you to be able to access that yourself, and then to read up about her yourself. So right now, I want to get started with the reading. So I'm just gonna go ahead and end the shuffling and yapping, and I'm gonna go straight to it. I do want to make sure that we are all rooted into our Mother Earth frequency. I want to also open my this portal up for to higher consciousness, all of the higher light beings, to the highest frequency, the source, to join in and help us with this reading, help us to connect to the messages that are here for us as a conglomerate of souls who are in this journey together in this moment, looking for your guidance. So it is. So, in case you're wondering, I have no rhyme or reason to the way that I work. I just make it up as I go along. I also, even though I refer to astrology, I'm a student of astrology. I haven't mastered anything. I haven't mastered it or anything. And I don't use tarot cards like some readers do, just because I feel like I have years to go. Like I have a lot to learn with tarot before I can even try and say that I can even. It's one of those like arts. It's an actual art, and you have to really spend a long time learning it. So even as I learn on the side, I still have the ability to connect to higher consciousness. So what you get in terms of a reading for me is how I connect in and the way that I interpret energy. Because one of the main things that I hope to offer is the energetic perspective to life on Earth. Because when we're able to upgrade our understanding to an energetic standpoint, we empower ourselves. And that's because we're looking at ourselves from that higher perspective. And we're looking at each other from that higher perspective. And we're looking at, Earth from that higher perspective. And that is what we're evolving to. So I'm going to go ahead and we will do 3 from that deck. And I will have 2 from this deck, and we will pause with this one to clarify. So I don't read reversals. Jupiter, Pluto, Venus, and Jupiter. Jupiter again. Jupiter, Uranus. Uranus. And first house. Arrival. So let's just say that the theme here is about expansion, and this spread immediately speaks to me about the expansive energy of change that we were in, and how we've arrived at this moment of change that I think no one can really say that they're not experiencing some level of change. I mean, when you're looking at change is really what, continuum constant is really the constant of reality. However, when when we experience an acceleration of change, then we all feel it, and we all feel it more intensely. And I think that's what's happening right now is you're gonna, you're not gonna be able to like turn on your social media or your um, news if you are watching news. Well, you know, I don't think anyone can really escape it, but especially if you're living in this environment that I'm in. But I'm just talking about the general exposure to one another. The general theme, the general frequency that is occurring now is the frequency of change. And then when you're considering change is that type of energy that is looking to help to reconfigure um, the energetics of of in this particular case, because what I think is happening is that we're experiencing like a whole big shift in evolution. Then we're looking at change, looking to change all of help us to at an individual basis change, but also to at a collective basis. So there's a cohesiveness to it, and so the fact that we have so much Jupiter here just shows all the cohesive um, energy that is in support of expansion. And what are we expanding to? This Venusian energy. And what else is there? Oh, and Uranus, and that it really could be um, more rapid more rapid a change than we are have been accustomed to in the past. And so this reading, I want to just address, because when you start when I anytime someone mentions like change in the first place, it can be very it could be a very triggering type of word, because change, we haven't been conditioned. A lot of society has not been conditioned to learn how to accept change as the natural order to things. It's more that we've been conditioned to resist change, and that's because you know we've been we we're within systems that have been constructed which aren't really in support of our well-beingness. I mean, our overall well-beingness, and because of that, then there's a natural misperception of what change symbolizes, because then when things do change, we're mostly expecting the other shoe to drop versus it to be that something good is about to occur. And we're seeing like a rapid acceleration of things, kind of, you know I was going to say deteriorating, but more so crumbling. um, because at the end of the day, if you are going to create a structure whereby people live, then if that structure itself is not sound in, again, what I was saying before, if it's not sound in being in cohesion to the well-being of all who are involved, then what will happen eventually is a crumbling, the sort of crumbling that we're starting to see within people, within the frequencies of people, within the frequencies of everyone. And it's really getting to that point where these changes are arriving to everybody's personal experiences. And so, what is important to really factor in is that you are held, you become responsible. You're having to become responsible for the way in which you're going to handle the changes that are looking to transform you. Because we are in this period of like I said, like of the crumbling. Then when the crumbling is happening, what's really happening is that there's a reorganization. It's not necessarily that now things end, because and that's one of the things that happens too, is that you're going to be confronted with seeing through the illusion of death and dying and things ending and all that, and then come to the realization that things never end and that things are eternal. um, when we're faced with a situation where things are crumbling, the reason why it becomes uh, like um like a period of time of destruction um, and distress and all of that is really, again, because of the fact that we haven't been taught to gracefully embrace change when it is, um, when it's at hand. And so the thing of it is that there's this Venusian energy that you can tap into that will help you, tap into that level of grace. Um, it exists so that you can. I'm saying Venus. You have within your access. I mean, this spread is showing you that you have within you the access point to being able to, within the chaos of the reorganization process, and that's what you're really going to be feeling. And if you are here, then you're kind of here just the to hear about the energetic story about what's going on, to what you will interpret as the happenings of your life, whether it is that you're looking at a friendship going into chaos, or business going into chaos. I mean, those are just the descriptions, but behind that, what's really happening is that there's a reorganization process. What's important is being able to um, get into understanding that you can be in a state of appreciation towards change. Um, it's a choice, um, but it is a wise choice to make, um, and it is available to you. And I want to clarify. Where are you? Sorry, my eye was itching. Okay, so heart opening. And so it says listen. And this is the help that you're going to get to tap into Venus. Um, Opening your heart center and listening to your intuition will always lead you in the right direction. You now have the opportunity to let down the walls you created from past wounds. Let your light shine from your heart to experience what the universe had always wanted for you. So, um, this talks about opening your heart, and so, as you're experiencing change in whatever way that is presented to you, and as you may be in also in that moment, also be experiencing anxiety over that, just given that if your life has been like so many um, people's lives who have been experiencing some level of suffering. I mean, obviously there's different levels to it, but if you have been kind of conditioned to being exposed to your own suffering and then the suffering of those around you, and now you're being you're witnessing that there is what could be considered the potential for things completely ending. You're going to be put into like some sort of tailspin. Your body itself, the physical experiences that you have coming through the existence of your body, as a energetic framework, you're going to be experiencing within yourself the interpretation of what would be all of those aspects that are being called to transform, called to reorganize. And what then also happens is that you are being called to work through those parts um, of the system that weren't working. And it's not just, the outer systems of like our, your business or your relationship, but it's more of an internal um, journey that you're being asked to make, that you're going to have to open your heart to realizing that the outer changes that you are seeing, if you're looking at them through this lens of energetics, then it's pushing you to look at those very wounds, um, and those very um, energies that you once would have tried to um, keep, which you didn't really try, but what once kind of just stayed there steadily in that same structured way of being like present for you. It's just gonna be different now. It's gonna be like you're experiencing more randomness with those parts that aren't working. It's just gonna be like it's coming out of out of order is what I'm saying. It's going to feel like it's coming out of order. But the reason why it's coming out of order is because right now there's no choice around it. It's reorganizing. And then in your case, you can find a way to be graceful in recognizing that that's what's happening, which is why you're listening to these words, is that you're going to be able to um, understand that as it's happening, because now you're seeing the bigger picture, that as it's happening, that what is happening is that there's just a reordering to the energetics of your system that will then eventually create not just a new order, but a whole new set of frequencies that exist within you, which will be kind of like opening you up to like a different way of experiencing yourself, a more empowered way of experiencing yourself. Because those things that don't work, they just fall away. It's kind of like trying to fit like a square into like a circle, thingy. It's like it just, you can try forever, and then eventually you're like, oh, this just doesn't work, and then that's it. Like there, I mean, unless like you have something. Well, anyway, there are just certain things that fall away, that don't work, and that's really kind of like how evolution works. Is like whatever it is that's not working, yes, it may um try to self-sustain itself, and the fact that we are encouraged to keep things going the same way because we're told that we don't have the power to actually change them, then yeah, we keep things going. And of course, we start experiencing over time like a weakening of the structures. And so there are these frequencies that we're experiencing. I mean, the general frequencies that kind of run and have been sustaining the framework of how things have been, even though things have been really, crappy for so many people. Those parts just become weaker and weaker over time. And what happens is that we do get to a point, like a low point, where now it's like, oh, it's not working anymore. And here we are trying to figure out like why everyone's um not getting along, why people are fighting, why people just don't make sense, why there's it's because instead of strengthening, those very systems have weakened in time. And not only the systems, but it's also the systems within you, because it's like what helps sustain those systems is really those very same emotions that got you up in the morning, whether it is like, oh, I'm scared that I don't get to feed my family, so that's why I'm working this job that I hate. Like, we're compelled to and motivated by these rationales and beliefs that really weren't self-sustaining. It appeared as though they were, but they weren't. Why? Because our very well-beingness just keeps deteriorating with time. And so what you're finding is that the very systems within your own makeup, um, the parts that aren't self-sustaining weaken in time. And so um, now that now that we are at that accelerated point, where so many of us um, are experiencing the change because the system itself has started to collapse, then you are here because you're trying to figure out how to handle yourself within this period of which is marked by change, expansive change, and there's an intensity to it that no one can really escape. I mean, I guess you could try, but it's still there, and the idea is learning how to connect to your and open your heart to be able to listen to what your body is telling you, because your body will, have those indicators that will, as it's reorganizing itself, it will show you, from within your heart space, it will reveal to you those very elements that you will need to look at in order to properly let go of, so that you can evolve and allow the restructuring to happen, like just happen more gracefully. Opportunity to let down the walls you created from past wounds. So yeah, it's when you're considering um what has happened to all of us, is that we've been wounded. We've been wounded by these systems. We've been wounding ourselves um as a result of that. And it's really just been it's really just helped create um temporary walls, you know and it is right now, right here, right now, is an opportunity. It is an opportunity for us to let things go, and then to step into go back to I want to go back to the Venus energy, which is really about understanding deep down inside that we can, regardless of what we're seeing in terms of um, interpreting change as destructive, we also do have the opportunity to see the other side and see that there is beauty also, and that it can also potentially be seen as beautiful. As hard as that may seem, I'm not saying that everybody is in that position to do so, but I am saying that if you are hearing these words, then there is a potential that um, you have that access point to, within whatever experiences that you're having of 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 suffering, to be able to receive the way in which you can reperceive, more quickly reperceive the reorganization of what's happening internally to you, that you can learn how to, pretty quickly, um, and pretty gracefully. When I say gracefully, it's more so about a level of acceptance that is not so much in that energy of resistance, which exists when we're trying to hang on to things and make things the same. It's kind of like a surrender of sorts. So you're going to, if you're listening to this, you're being asked to really get into that sense of surrendering into the moment, and listening from your heart to see, so that you can begin to because it's going to be easy to see the to see things as being, and interpret them as being bad, for lack of a better word. It's going to be obvious, the interpretation of how things are bad, because things are, in this physical manifestation of what's happening, things will be and are bad. I mean, if we're to really be truthful about our experiences, because I'm not asking anyone to kind of be in the denialism either. But at the same time, because we are in this realm where both, you know, both exist, good and bad exist, that the potential of interpretation exists for both, it begs for us to be able to create a balancing point within ourselves, to be able to acknowledge the other side, to be able to take time away to open up to the other side of seeing, and interpreting whatever is happening as being good also. And this requires a certain level of coming from the soul's higher perspective about looking at life versus, estimating it from just your human standpoint, which is why when I speak and why I emphasize higher consciousness when I do speak, it's not necessarily that I'm here just speaking from the perspective of the mind, but I'm here speaking from looking at things from the perspective of the soul. So one more clarifier to kind of wrap things up. Soul family. So so I oh, this is so beautiful. I want to tell Donna about the reading. So yeah, I started this reading talking to you about Donna, my friend Donna, who is really my soul family, and I see you guys as my soul family too. Even though I haven't really met, like physically met you guys or yet, but and I hope to one day maybe be able to meet some of you. But we're given strength through the unification and finding each other again, finding the the resonant frequencies of our collective. And you being here just means that we're in the same resonance field of existence, which then provides strength, which is why I created this portal. And I gotta tell you that that I've been strengthened by having met Donna these past few months. I've been really strengthened in my ability to come here and to speak and to be able to actually access more information that that is available to me, just given what I am able to bring forward of this energetic perspective. I'm able to kind of like, my level of perception has increased so much just from having the presence and the presence of Donna in my life. And this is because we're an energetic family. We're an energetic soul family. And so it's not just an individual journey that we're taking. We're right now being shown and told by the guides. The guides are kind of like, yeah, keep going. We're being encouraged to check in to our soul families. And this might not make sense to you if you are in a situation where you haven't physically encountered a person, but it's not that way that is being encouraged here. It's more so the frequencies. So, and soul family is not just reserved to other human beings. This is reserved to the non-physical beings who are in support of you, who are cheering you on right now. And it might just be them that you have access to right now, but it's your awareness that is being called for you to wake up to, that you do have soul family that is present in your life, strengthening you, because the level of reorganization that's happening here on this earth, given the shifts that we will be experiencing, it calls for a level of strength um, that that requires the level of support that is being offered to us here. And um, oh, let me read it. It says, finding your soul family is a blessing that reaps many benefits. You're being asked to reach out and explore to find your soul connections. They will feel familiar, safe, and trusted when you meet them. Send out your intention to connect with your soul family and see who comes your way. So that is exactly how I felt like when I met Donna, and it still feels that way. It's like this person who, I mean, instinctively felt like I already knew her, and she already, I think she'd say the same thing, that she already knew me. Felt like we knew one another already. Um, and in that way, it was reconfirmation, but just a confirmation that we've had lifetimes before together. And we've had that confirmed like in other ways. But the point is that what you're going to be looking at in terms of recognizing whether you're connecting to your soul family or not is to is that feeling that you have of, and if you're looking at opening up to your soul family from that individual perspective, then it's really opening your heart up in those moments of change that you're experiencing, however chaotic the moments are, finding the time to open, to connect to your heart and open to the answer to the question of what beauty is there here for, what beauty is here for me to experience. What of my experience can I see, which is the other side to the level of suffering that I am experiencing. Now, when you open yourself to that question, because it's a question that bears asking, only in that only in that if you only allow yourself to be in resonance to what's going wrong, especially if you're defining it that way, then you're not allowing yourself to find resolution, which can only be found within that balancing point of seeing both sides. So my message has been from the beginning and continues to be finding that neutral standpoint to come from any situation that you're in, because it allows you to more completely exist within this framework, and to no longer give your power away. And how you give your power away is only in engaging with one side, only in seeing, you know, seeing things like in that inflexible way as being like concrete. It's really not allowing yourself to venture into those parts of your existence that are there, but you have been trying to, which you have been avoiding, just given that the emphasis has generally been placed upon upon your focus being on those parts that have kind of kept the systems going. But it's no longer about what has kept that system going, because you're seeing that that system is like falling apart. And so do not fear if you sense that things seem to be kind of crumbling, or changing, maybe even changing at a faster rate than you ever wanted it to. What you can do in those moments is to open your heart, because your soul family will message you. They will respond and send you the messages that are necessary to help you feel the level of support that will strengthen you in those periods of time. And you know not just to keep you going, but to help you come into understanding the level of experience of beauty that is available for you to either just immediately experience, or to express in the times to come. Until next time.